Where are we heading? I mean, what is paraded as nationalism in the national interest is nothing but socialism and alarmism.
Well, it certainly is, and we're certainly not heading into lower emissions, even if that was a meaningful goal, because the rest of the world will not reduce their emissions, at least the rest of the world, which means the developing world, which has got the most emissions right now. And they're not doing it because they're perverse or anything else. They're basically not eschewing coal, oil and gas, because these are the cheapest forms of power, and they need cheap power in order to raise their living standards. We need cheap power in order to maintain our competitiveness in industries. We're losing all our value industries and manufacturing, basically, because our power, which was once and should be the cheapest in the world, is now right up there amongst the highest.
Who in government, anyone in government, talks to you?
Nobody.
Nobody, see?
Nobody.
So it's our problem. Nobody. These people are know-alls, and they're frightened of speaking to people like Dr. Moran because it doesn't suit their agenda. Haven't we seen a decade, Alan, where the projected increase in overall global temperatures hasn't occurred?
It's not occurred, and for at least 10 years there's been no increase. And of course, the levels of CO2 are continuing to rise, but in spite of that, there's been no increase. There may well be an association of CO2 and temperatures over some long term, but it's a very small association, and the levels of CO2 are by no means alarming. If there is a temperature increase, it's trivial and is not being measured at the present time. It's no wonder, in fact, that they've now morphed the language from global warming to climate change.
I was just about to ask you that. And to our viewers, you heard what he just said then, Dr. Moran, they've now changed the language. So we're no longer preventing global warming, we're preventing climate change. And then, of course, they argue this is due to human-induced carbon dioxide. Please tell me, Dr. Moran, if carbon dioxide is 0.04% of the atmosphere, surely only a fool would argue it's affecting the climate.
Not only could you not argue it, but you just look at it, look at the data, look at what they say. Okay, maybe hurricanes have gone up. Well, they've not. They're dead flat. There's been no change in hurricanes. They say, okay, well, we're going to have droughts. We look at the rainfall over Australia for the last century. It's dead flat. It goes up and down a lot. It's very volatile, but the trend line is dead flat. They say, oh, well, look. In fact, the energy minister said so only last week. We're going to have more and more bushfires. You're not seeing anything yet. Well, bushfire seasons in 1974-5 and in many, many earlier eras are miles higher than they were last year.